your children. And Vision, this whole little life you've made. This is chaos magic, Wanda. And that makes you a Scarlet Witch.
WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch, and Chaos Magic. Now, due to the success of the Disney Plus series WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch is getting a lot of publicity. As I do on my videos, I will try to give you a short bio of this character and its association with the occult. In this case, with Scarlet Woman, or Babylon, and Chaos Magic. And if you stay to the end, I will show you how to do a magical operation using Chaos Magic. So stay to the end. The Scarlet Witch first appeared together with his brother, Quicksilver, as part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants in X-Men number 4 on March 1964. They were depicted as reluctant and uninterested in Magneto's ideas. Wanda Maximoff in the MCU possesses a drastically different power set to her comic book counterpart. Instead, is shown as a Jean Grey analog, gifted with both telepathic and telekinetic powers, with her abilities in the MCU being derived, at least in part, from experiments in which she was exposed to the Mind Stone. As of 2019, Magneto and other characters from the X-Men franchise have not been introduced into the MCU because Marvel Studios didn't own the rights of the X-Men until early 2019, and therefore no mention has been made of Maximoff's traditional depiction as the daughter of Magneto. The characters' in-universe backstory and parentage has been changed more than once, depicted in the 1970s as the children of Golden Age superhero Wizard. A retcon in the 1980s revealed the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver to be the unknown offspring of Magneto, born to Magneto's estranged wife in Transia. Scarlet Witch and her brother are left in the care of their adoptive Romani parents, and she is raised as Wanda Maximoff. The Scarlet Witch also has the potential to wield magic, and later learned that she was destined to serve the role of Nexus Being, a living focal point for the Earth Dimension's mystical energy. Steve Englehart, writer of the Avengers, gave her a more assertive personality, removed Quicksilver, and expanded her powers by turning her into an apprentice of witchcraft. Writer Kurt Busiek later redefined Scarlet Witch powers and maintained that it was in fact an ability to manipulate chaos magic, activated due to a demon, changing her mutation at birth into an ability to wield and control magical energy. We do see during the 80s a period where the influence of the occult and counterculture is strongly identified in comics. The appearance of figures like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore, as self-proclaimed occult magicians, establishing themselves as authorities on this genre. This generation, influenced by figures like Timothy Leary, psychedelic drugs, and new forms of pagan movements, began taking more protagonism. In the description, I'm leaving a link to a video about Alan Moore, writer of graphic novels like Watchmen, V for Vendetta, From Hell, and many others, where he talks about magic and his relationship with the world, with multiple caption subtitles on many languages, which I highly recommend if you are interested on the topic of the occult and comics. In the mythology of the Scarlet Witch, we can identify key elements that are clearly influenced from the occult and magic, from the actual name of the character to the source of his power to yield reality. Beginning with her name, the Scarlet Witch. For students of the occult, using scarlet to call a woman involved with magic is not unfamiliar. Babylon, also known as the Scarlet Woman, Great Mother or Mother of Abominations. is a goddess found in the occult system of Thelema, which was established in 1904 with the writings of the Book of the Law by English author and occultist Alaister Crowley. In her most abstract form, Babylon represents the female sexual, impulsive, and the liberated woman. In the creed of the Gnostic Mass, she is also identified with the Mother Earth in her most fertile sense, along with her status as an archetype or goddess. Crowley believed that Babylon had an earthly aspect or avatar, a living woman who occupied the spiritual office of the Scarlet Woman. This office, first identified in the Book of the Law, is usually described as a counterpart to his own identification as to Megatherion, the Great Beast. The role of the Scarlet Woman was to help manifest the energies of the Aeon of Horus. Crowley believed that several women in his life occupied the office of the Scarlet Woman. I'm leaving on the description a video about Aleister Crowley, both in English and Spanish, that you can find in my channel as well. Babylon consort is Chaos, called the Father of Life in the Gnostic Mass, being the male form of the creative principle. Separate from her relationship with her consort, Babylon is usually depicted as riding the beast. She is often referred to as the sacred whore, and her primary symbol is the Chalice of Grail. This takes us to the next item on our list: chaos. We need to keep in mind that all stories of creation start from the same source, from nothing, from a void, where there is no other thing, from chaos. For a Kabbalistic, that would be the equivalent of Ein Sof, the source of everything. And as the Book of the Sacred Law says, the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. That energy where everything comes from nothing, that's chaos. Chaos magic is a magical practice initially developed in England in the 1970s, drawing heavily from the philosophy of artist and occultist Austin Osman Spare. Within the magical system of Austin Osman Spare, magic was believed to operate by using symbols to communicate desires to something Spare called Kia, a sort of universal mind of which individual human consciousness are aspects, via the passage of the unconscious. Therefore, the need for a complex system of symbolism feeding the mind with these desires would then grow unconsciously into obsessions, which would culminate in a magical result occurring in reality. If you're interested in the power of symbology and images, I'm leaving a link as well on its importance and why secret societies like the Freemasons use symbolism and images as a cornerstone for their teaching. Chaos magic differs from other occult traditions such as Thelema or Wicca, in that it rejects the existence of absolute truth and views all occult systems as arbitrary symbol systems that are only effective because of the beliefs of the practitioner. The word chaos was first used in connection with magic by Peter J. Carroll in Liber Null and Psychonaut on 1978, where it is described as the thing responsible for the origins and continuous actions of events. Carroll goes on to say that it could as well be called God or Tao, but the name chaos is virtually meaningless and a free form, the anthropomorphic ideas of religion. Magical traditions like Wicca, Kabbalah, or the Golden Dawn system combine techniques for bringing about change with beliefs, attitudes, a conceptual model of the universe, if not several, a moral ethic, and a few other things besides. Chaos leaves behind these beliefs and only contemplates the techniques for effective change. Hence, the emphasis is on actual doing things, experimenting with different techniques rather than memorizing complex rules, symbols, and correspondences, and then retaining those techniques that appear to produce results. There are a few techniques that has been specifically developed by chaos magicians and are unique to the tradition. But first, let's talk about some important aspects of the chaos magic operation. The Gnostic state. Most chaos magic techniques involve something called the Gnostic state, or gnosis. This is described as an altered state of consciousness, in which a person's mind is focused on only one point, thought or goal, and all other thoughts are thrown out. The Gnostic state is used to bypass the filter of the conscious mind, something thought to be necessary for working most forms of magic. Since it's acclaimed to take many years of training to master this sort of Zen-like meditative ability, chaos magicians employ a variety of other ways to attain a brief no-mind state in which we can perform this magic. Here are some examples. Inhibitory gnosis is a form of deep meditation into a trance state of mind. This type of gnosis uses slow and regular breathing techniques, absent of thought process, progressive muscle relaxation. You're welcome to use a video I also will add on the description if you want to use this technique. Another technique to achieve gnosis is the ecstatic gnosis, described as a mindlessness state reached through intense arousal. It is aimed to be reached through sexual excitation, intense emotions, flagellation, dance, drumming, chanting, among others. This technique is very common since it is achieved right at the time of reaching the sexual orgasm, with either a partner or on your own. The second aspect we will discuss are the sigils. A sigil is a picture or glimpse that represents a particular desire or intention. They are most commonly created by writing out the intention, then condensing the letters of the statement down to a form of sort of monogram. The chaos magicians then uses the Gnostic state or gnosis to launch or charge the sigil, essentially bypassing the conscious mind to implant the desire in the unconscious. The magician acknowledges a desire. He lists the appropriate symbols and arranges them into an easily visualized glimpse. Using any of the Gnostic techniques, he charges the sigil and then by force of will hurts it into his unconscious, from where the sigil can begin the work on our desire. Because the society teaches us that magic doesn't exist and is an illusion, how can we get results with that enemy fighting against ourselves? Chaos magics through sigil magic bypass that unconscious mind and place the desire to our conscious mind on a state of gnosis. Because society teaches us that magic doesn't exist and is an illusion, we're the first one to disregard this operation within ourselves. Chaos magic through sigil magic bypass the conscious mind to implant the desire in the unconscious in the state of gnosis. Banishing the sigil. After activating the sigil, it needs to be banished. This is the first step of forgetting the entire operation. The easiest way of vanishing is to let out a big laugh. At first your laugh will probably seem to be a bit fake, but that doesn't matter. Actually, laughing is one of the most uncomplicated ways of achieving a state of empty mind, as mentioned above. In addition, the magician should distract from the magical operation by concentrating on something profane, something completely different. The less it has to do with magic, the better. Activities like watching TV, playing computer games, or exercising are all good methods of distraction. Some prefer to do this operation right before they go to sleep. So, should we do some magic? First of all, a couple of advices. Before you perform this operation, from my own experience, I would like to recommend a couple of things. Please make sure you do some sort of banishing, lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or a prayer, meditation, with the intention to clean the area or space from negative influences, you can still proceed. Again, this is my advice. Second, make sure you do more than one sigil when you are ready to charge it. That way, we minimize the possibility of our conscious mind to remember and therefore bring down the magical operation. If you have several, your conscious mind will not remember nor be able to understand what that sigil is about. And third, please be careful with what you are wishing for. Your wish may come true, but how it will and what consequences it will have, we don't know. If you ask for money, you might get it. Or maybe after someone close to you dies and leave you that money, for example. That's why it's important to meditate and be in touch with our true will. Ask for something specific and be cautious. Remember, chaos magic differs from other occult traditions such as Thelema or Wicca in that it rejects the existence of an absolute truth. Therefore, be free to dismiss any of my advices, but since I speak from my own experience, I provide you with the information for you to decide. So let's begin, shall we? First, write your statement of intent in block letters on a piece of paper. Now cross out all of the letters that are repeated each time a repetition occurs. Each letter is only used once. Once you know the letters, you will start writing them, since those are the letters that will remain and we will use to do our sigil. You see that we made a little picture by lining up the letters on top of each other. Now, although a sigil shouldn't be too complicated to prevent over-challenging the subconscious mind, it shouldn't be too simple either, since this makes forgetting the sigil more difficult. A simple square or circle is a way too easy to forget. Plus, if you take a close look at the sigil, you should be able to recognize all of the letters you use, at least theoretically. When simplifying the sigil, you should also make the letters more abstract. As mentioned before, make sure you do more than one sigil when you are ready to charge it. That way, we minimize the possibility of your conscious mind to remember and therefore bring down the magical operation. Once you're ready, you can charge the sigil. Remember, once you reach the no-mind gnosis state, through the techniques already provided, you need to focus on the sigil image, destroy it, and banish it. Laugh and forget about it. Distract your mind and let the magic do its work. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and follow me on either Facebook or Instagram. Please remember, do what you willed. 93, take care.